The history of the United States of America began in 1585 with the first English colony, Roanoke, which is considered lost. The colonization of America continued with the establishment of London and Plymouth trading companies, and the creation of a new colony, Virginia, by Captain John Smith. The colonists began to grow tobacco and use slave labor for plantation work. The East Coast was also mastered by the Swedes and the Dutch, while the French colonized Canada and the Spaniards settled in the South. European traders established trade relations with the Indians, pitting them against each other, leading to the Beaver Wars that lasted throughout the 17th century. The Iroquois, with British and Dutch support, captured large areas, crushing neighboring tribes. But in the end, the French, with Indian support, defeated the Iroquois League, and peace was established on the shores of the Great Lakes. During the successful development of America by Britain, 13 English colonies were established from Florida to Canada, between the Appalachian Mountains and the Atlantic Ocean. In the mid-18th century, Benjamin Franklin voiced ideas about creating a federation of colonies with its own government and president at the head, but within the British Empire. These ideas formed the basis of the future American state. The 7 Years' War, one of the largest conflicts of modern times, flared up 2 years later, with most of the European powers, including the British Empire, opposing France and allied Indians in North America. The British managed to win thanks to the Iroquois League, and France ceded most of its colonies to Britain. This event led to tensions between the colonies and the metropolis. The British, seeking to extract the maximum profit from the colonies, raised taxes and set duties, causing discontent among the colonists. In 1773, the colonists protested against the British monopoly on the tea trade in what became known as the Boston Tea Party. This event sparked the American Revolution. The Continental Congress was convened in 1774, where it was decided to boycott British goods. However, not all of the 13 colonies supported Congress, with a split between patriots, who supported independence, and loyalists, who remained loyal to King George. Congress created the Continental Army, led by George Washington, and declared war on the metropolis. American troops invaded Canada and captured Montreal but were defeated under Quebec. On July 4, 1776, the United States declared independence. British troops took over New York and Philadelphia, and the Iroquois League committed a series of raids on the colonies, causing significant damage. The American army was shackled in the north, preventing it from defending the south. 2 years after the start of the war, the Americans won their first major victory at the Battle of Saratoga. The United States purchased Alaska from the Russian Empire in 1867 for $7 million. An area of 1.5 million square kilometers. The Statue of Liberty was gifted to the U.S. by France on the occasion of the centenary of American independence and quickly became a symbol of the country. The U.S. recovered from the Civil War, and the economy began to grow, leading to American imperialism, with Hawaii being invaded in 1893, followed by Spanish colonies in 1898. The U.S. intervened in the First World War after Germany resumed unrestricted submarine warfare and sent a telegram to Mexico urging them to attack the U.S. In 1919, the League of Nations was created, but the U.S. was not included in it. The Great Depression began in 1929 and was only resolved after Franklin Roosevelt came to power. The Second World War saved the U.S. economy, with the U.S. providing military assistance to Britain and the USSR under the Lend-Lease program. Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, leading to the U.S. declaring war on Japan and Nazi Germany declaring war on the U.S. The U.S. won decisive victories in the Pacific War and invaded North Africa and Italy in the European theater. The Red Army began to push the Germans back, liberating a number of Soviet cities and effectively ending the German offensive. The Soviet Union then launched a counter-offensive, pushing the Germans back to their own borders and ultimately leading to the capture of Berlin in May 1945. The war had a profound impact on the United States, both economically and socially. The country emerged as a global superpower, with its economy strengthened by the wartime production and the post-war boom that followed. However, the war also brought about significant social changes, including the rise of women in the workforce and the civil rights movement. In the aftermath of the war, the United States entered a new era of global politics, marked by the Cold War and the threat of nuclear annihilation. The country became involved in numerous conflicts around the world, including the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the Gulf War, among others. Today, the United States remains one of the most influential nations in the world, with its economy, military, and cultural influence felt across the globe. However, the country faces numerous challenges, including political polarization, economic inequality, and the ongoing threat of terrorism and global conflict.